After learning all 33 characters in Bleach Rebirth of Souls, I can say with absolute confidence,
I love these games!
I'm not an expert on them all, I want to lay that out here, but I did practice with them all in training mode, I won with them all online, and spent around an hour with all of them at least. This also won't be a video listing the most optimal combos for each of them, nor is it a tier list. That may come later. This is just a layout of what they can do, how I felt playing with them, how they're best utilized, and just a video to make it easier for you to pick out which one you may want to main. Or if you just like watching the game, you'll understand better what you're looking at on the screen after this video. I'm going to put timestamps for each character so you can skip to the ones you're most interested in, and I'll be going in the order of the character selector. This video probably took me over 50 hours to make, playing all the characters, then learning them all, and editing this. So if you'd be a doll, and even if you don't watch the whole thing, which would be amazing, at least like the video and subscribe. That would mean a lot. So, right before I get into it, quick disclaimer so nobody is confused. When I say quick attack, I mean the square or X button on Xbox. When I say flash attack, I mean the triangle or Y button. When I say special flash attack, I mean the up triangle or up Y move everyone has. When I say signature move, I mean the circle or B move everyone has. And when I say first spiritual pressure move, I'm referring to the one that costs 50 spiritual pressure. And when I say second spiritual pressure move, I'm referring to the one that costs 100 spiritual pressure. And finally, when I say breaker, that's the grab-like attack that every character has, which is used with R1 or the right bumper. Hope that helps you keep track of what I'm talking about. Now let's get into it. Now first up, we've got the head captain, Genryusai Yamamoto. You've really got to be careful with Yamamoto's Inferno gauge because you can beat yourself before the opponent even has a chance to touch you. Just peep this Mayuri fight I had. My first online fight with him, so I had no idea this guy would lose this much health. The Mayuri legit barely touched me, and I lost. If you do enough flash attacks or signature move attacks, you'll enter Hellfire state, where you do more damage, but lose a lot of health quickly. The gauge reduces over time or with quick attack hits, so it's important to manage it, because that gauge builds up very quickly if you just spam your signature moves or your flash attacks. His second spiritual pressure move gets him out of it instantly though, whilst doing a lot of damage, and it can end a combo, so you have to be smart with how you use that gauge. His first spiritual pressure move also builds the gauge, as well as a special flash attack, which is broken in my opinion. You can spam it until you reach Hellfire state, and even if the opponent blocks it, you typically get priority with your quick attack, at least in the matches I've seen. You can tell I recorded this before the patch because they did fix the special flash attack. It no longer can last forever, and you no longer get priority when it's blocked. Good job, guys. Oh yeah, and he's the only character who can't dash, so you're gonna need to use that special flash attack often. Yamamoto is just a powerhouse. Does ridiculous damage, and the lack of a dash really doesn't faze him. He's just more powerful in Awakening mode and can destroy 6 Konpaku in his Hellfire state, though he destroys 2 of his own, so it's best used as a finisher. Definitely a fun character to use though, the flame attacks are just so satisfying to land. Next up, we have Squad 2's captain, Soi Fon. Yes, Soi Fon has an insta-kill ability, but it's already well known and people are wary of it, unlike day 1 of the game, so it's not easy to land and I wouldn't rely on it. It can break through block, but their guard has to be at about half and you have to land it twice. If you can land her second spiritual pressure move, which freezes your opponent in place though, it can be a viable strategy. Though it seems because they gave her an insta-kill, they wanted to make her do butt cheeks damage, because it takes a while to deplete an opponent's Reishi with her, even with her flashy high hit combos. He herself also has low Reishi, so it doesn't take as much damage to deplete her gauge. The plus side is, once you enter her awakened state, she can use her Bankai, which destroys 6 Konpaku on the first hit. So if you do what you should and deplete the opponent's Konpaku by 3 before her awakening, then awaken her and land another Kikon move, you'll win only needing to deplete your opponent's Reishi twice. You really need to be relentless with Soi Fon and keep moving around at all times, throwing your opponent off. Her special flash attack is solid, but you absolutely need her signature move to do any serious combos, and therefore serious damage with her. She has a stock of 8 Anken, which you need to replenish when it reaches 0, which can leave you open to attack when you're replenishing it. But if you become really good with her, like this Soi Fon I fought as Yoruichi, you can do some dirty combos and be extremely satisfying to use. Next is the captain of Squad 6, Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya is lots of fun. His Senbon Zakura hits are so satisfying to land, and he's low-key got some nice combos. He's unique in that he can change his Zanpakuto to release or sealed state. In sealed state, he fights more close range and honestly doesn't have much in the way of combos, but in release state, he fights with his sword turned flower petals, and he becomes more long range. His Spiritual Pressure move 1 either brings your opponent close in and changes to sealed state, or he pushes them away and changes to release state. And this is one of the most fun combos in the game for me. Starting in release state, then bringing them in close to slice them up, is just dope. Then his Spiritual Pressure move 2 is a counter, which is always nice to have, and does really solid damage. When he awakens, he's stuck in his release state, but since that's the more fun one anyways, I love it. You just gotta be more careful of the opponent getting in too close. And his counter is a perfect way to play to that. He's got all the range and can be a nuisance to fight against with a signature move that reaches the whole map. His special flash attack is also a good way to keep opponents at bay. Honestly, this was one of the most fun characters to play as in the game, for me. Next is Squad 7's captain, Sajin Komamura. As you might guess, not an agile guy, but definitely powerful. You've got to manage distance well with this guy, because if you miss his attacks, he's left wide open. He can gain a bit of distance with a signature move which activates Tengen before awakening, allowing you to hit the opponent from medium range, but mostly this guy wants to be up close and personal. Doesn't have any real combos as such. You can't combo into his Spiritual Pressure moves or off of them, the first of which is a rush charge type attack, the second being a powerful attack in which you're immovable during the charge up. What we all look out for with this guy though, is his Bankai, one of 2 of its like in the game. He awakens into this mini-boss that lasts 40 seconds or when his Reishi reaches 0, but he regenerates his entire health bar when awakened, so it's best used when near 0 health. And another patch note, Komamura and Renji by extension no longer heal full health when they use their awakening, which is for the best in my opinion. Attacks do ridiculous damage even through guard, and you don't flinch from attacks. His Spiritual Pressure move 2 is where it's at though. Unblockable and does ridiculous damage. Destroys 5 Konpaku in the States, so a great fight finishing move to use. I'll be honest though, even his weakened post-Bankai state still does really good damage. He just can't use Tengen anymore, though his new signature move is actually really good because it's got super armor. I myself wasn't really good with this guy, I'll admit. He takes some time to get used to how slow he is, but if you get good with his normal state, he is a serious problem. Next up, we have Squad 8's captain, Shunsui Kyoraku. Shunsui can be very deceptive with how far he can reach with his special flash attack, though he can't combo off it directly, and also his signature move can either bring him closer to an opponent, or gain him some distance. He isn't a combo fiend, he can't even combo off a breaker, though he does pretty high damage. And you really just want to catch your opponent lacking with his attacks, including his Spiritual Pressure moves, both of which can reach essentially the entire map. Though his awakened state is really where we see his character traits come through. His children's game can either help you tremendously, or fuck you over royally. This early in the game, most people still don't know what the fuck they do, so you'll end up like the Soi Fon standing outside my circle just losing health for no reason. So let me explain them here. The King of the Hill damages anyone outside the circle whilst anyone within it gains Spirit Drive quicker. His Chase the Devil game puts an icon above the last person to be hit, designating them as it until either the timer runs out or a certain amount of total damage is done to each player. The one who's it last takes all the damage done during the game. And his quick comparison game gives 50 spiritual power to the person who lands a hit first after the word begin shows up on screen. All of his games are fair. You have no advantage in any of them, which is what makes it fun. And if you're into that sort of gimmicky thing, this may be the character for you. Next we have the miniature captain of Squad 10, Toshiro Hitsugaya. Hitsugaya is a techie one still. He's got range with his ice attacks, both his Ice Block special flash attack and his Icicle signature move, but they're both very slow to use and can be easy to read, so you've got to be careful of counters. He doesn't have much in the way of cool combos without the reverse gauge, though if you time your hits well with his signature move, it can yield a cool combo. The main thing with Hitsugaya is damage. He can do solid damage, especially if you combo into a second spiritual pressure move. And once his ice gauge is built up, which you gain by hitting ice attacks, he'll do even more damage. Though once full, the bar slowly drains away over time. Once awakened, he has the same attacks, just looks cooler, and he's a character that you can be down big time in a match and still pull it back. There's definitely a high ceiling with this guy in the way you play him. It's all about timing and not panicking, and keeping distance, then using your ice attacks strategically to close in. So if you're a real strategist, you're gonna have fun using this guy. Next we have Squad 11's captain, Kenpachi Zaraki. I had such a rough time with Zaraki online. Maybe I just can't handle slow characters very well, and Zaraki is unbelievably slow. He's the definition of a comeback character. His attacks do decent damage, but they get stronger as he awakens and as he has less health and Konpaku, and he can destroy 6 Konpaku in one go if he gets low enough. So a real comeback character. His special flash attack can eat enemy attacks whilst thrusting forward, and his signature move makes him immovable except for breakers. The more attacks he takes, the stronger the following slash. There's not much in terms of combos with this guy. Most of his attacks don't allow for combos, but his spiritual pressure move 1 can end a mini combo. His second spiritual pressure move is a medium range slash, and if you charge it up, it's unblockable. Though as a consequence, it's pretty easy to read. If you're patient and good at reading your opponent, this is the character for you. I think I found I'm not good at doing those things, so this ain't the character for me. And the final captain of the list, we have Squad 12's captain and the head of the research and development department, Mayuri Kurotsuchi. Mayuri is good for controlling the field with his poison signature move, which you can detonate on command, and his special flash attack, which is very long reach if fully charged. His quick attack is also very quick and can poke through little gaps in the opponent's attacks. His first spiritual pressure move is very close range, but he basically attaches a bomb to the opponent, which you can detonate on command, or just wait 10 seconds, which can lead into a combo if you're ready, pre-awakening only. And his second spiritual pressure move, where Nemu holds the opponent in place, then kicks them up, is really good when combined with a special flash attack, and it can do really solid damage. His breaker can't combo into anything, it sends your opponent flying away but does good damage. This is another character where you have to have patience and create distance, but know when to close in, because he's not a long range character exactly, just has some attacks that can keep opponents at bay. His poison accumulates automatically in his Bankai awakening state, and he does more damage when attacking the opponent if poison is stocked up. A fairly easy to use character in terms of controls, good for annoying the opponent, not a powerhouse or combo lord. Next is Squad 3's Lieutenant Izuru Kira. Kira is an interesting one. I thought he'd be a lot better than he is just from reading his kit, but he's okay I guess if used right. He does low damage but can catch you off guard with a signature move, which you can't combo off of by the way, which I find weird. His special flash attack is a counter which can do solid damage, but again you can't combo off of it, not even with a flash step. You really want to awaken this guy as soon as you can because he's got the same moves, just stronger, and now he has a Wabisuke counter thing, which is the more you land hits with your blade, the more it levels up. Then if you land one of your spiritual pressure moves with it leveled up, the opponent becomes slowed and your Kikon move will destroy more Konpaku, ranging from 3 to 6 the higher you level it up. His first spiritual pressure move is just a combo slash which you can't combo off of yet again, and his second one is an unblockable that freezes your opponent in place when hit. Sounds broken, but the fact that this guy is low damage and can't combo much, not even off his breaker, it isn't as great as it sounds, though still very good. Another little side note, I don't know why I didn't realize this, but when they're frozen, the opponent can't block your Kikon move. So if they're at max health and you land this move, you can hit them with your Kikon move and still destroy Konpaku. So it's actually a lot better than I realized. You just gotta be a nuisance with this guy, and land little jabs where you can. His reach is pretty deceptively far for how he looks, and his damage definitely adds up. Next is Squad 6's Lieutenant, Renji Abarai. Renji is just great. Not only because of his Bankai awakening that just sends your opponent into the fetal position, but before that, he can attack from basically any range comfortably. You can shield from distance and annoy your opponent with a signature move. You can jump in close with a special flash attack and combo off it. The only thing is that his spiritual pressure moves aren't really comboable, but they're still good. His second one gives him a buff, and his first one you can use to create distance while damaging the opponent. Just like Komamura though, this is what everyone uses Renji for. His Bankai. People still have no idea how to deal with it, and the disgusting thing is, it does damage even when the opponent guards, and that's a lot of damage. Just look at this Kisuke. He didn't know what the fuck to do. You want to save this for later into the fight though, because when he exits Bankai, he is severely weakened, and unlike Komamura, it shows. His signature move changes into a counter that damages yourself almost as much as your opponent if you're too close to them. So he loses range and he's just overall weaker and not as fun to use. So make sure you use the Bankai when you know you're near victory. Which shouldn't be too tough because he's fun to use even before his awakening. Next is Squad 9's Lieutenant, Shuhei Hisagi. Shuhei is not as fun in training as he is in a real match. That's because he's unique in that he gets stronger as his spear gauge increases, and it increases the more Konpaku is destroyed in battle by either fighter, and every time a character awakens. He's therefore best to be awakened quickly, and then his attack style changes from more close range to mid range, and he can do some better combos and higher damage. Unlike some other characters, it makes total sense for you to deplete an opponent's Reishi 4 times in a fight and not even worry about getting them to 0% health before doing so, because again, he'll just get stronger. His signature move is pretty fun the stronger it gets, as it keeps opponents at bay and even does chip damage through guard. And his special flash attack is good for dodging projectiles, though you can't combo off it directly, which is a little disappointing. His first spiritual pressure move is a long-range Hado move that powers up the more his fear gauge increases, and is a good combo finisher. And he has a counter for his second spiritual pressure move. Overall, I'd say Shuhei is a come-from-behind type of character, which if you've only played with in training mode, you're not getting the full fun of this character. And because his fear gauge never depletes, he can only get stronger as the fight goes on. I know almost every character technically gets stronger as the fight goes on, but Shuhei just does so in a much more satisfying way. I don't know how to describe it. The final lieutenant of the list is Squad 10's lieutenant, Rangiku Matsumoto. Hey, eyes up here, buddy. Rangiku is actually pretty solid pre-awakening. Her signature move is good for keeping people at bay, and her special flash attack has pretty solid range that's quick and not that easy to see coming. And you can also combo off of it, which is always nice. Her first spiritual pressure move is a counter, though I usually use her second one, which just does dirty damage for a pre-awakening attack, and is good for finishing combos. Once awakened, her second spiritual pressure move changes to a dust storm, within which you do more damage, and her signature move also changes to a smaller version of this. It took me a while to realize that anybody within the dust storm, or whirlwind, or whatever you want to call it, can be hit by your regular attacks, so she can have crazy range. And it's best to not land a Kikon move with her until awakened because she can do 5 Konbaku with a soul break, and 4 without a soul break, so she can 2-shot them once awakened. I guess that's most characters on the list, to be fair. Overall, she's another character that can kind of control the field if used right, and you can keep the opponent guessing with your counter and your range both in pre-awakened state and post-awakening. Just different kinds of range. Next is the third seed of Squad 11, Ikkaku Madarame. Ikkaku is not for the faint of heart or skill. Ikkaku seems like the type of character that if you master, you'll just be absolutely dirty with him. You can close in from distance, but you really want to use him up close and pressure your opponent. His signature move and his first spiritual pressure move are the same. He enters this Slayer stance and you have 4 options. To release the stance, which does nothing. To enter a counter stance where if you get hit, you counter. To slice at your opponent and follow up with a combo. Or to thrust at them, which can reach pretty far. Especially with the spiritual pressure version, which is just a beefed up version of his signature move. His second spiritual pressure move just buffs him, so the Slayer stance is really where his focus is. He can combo from it, combo into it, and just do all sorts of stuff. Initially, I thought his awakening was very different, but no. He has exactly the same attacks, maybe just the reach and look is different, but the more you charge up his Ryumon gauge, the more damage he does. He does pretty low damage pre-awakening, so it's best to awaken him as soon as you can. And there's a reason this guy's max damage output in training mode is listed as 14k, which is ridiculous. There's a lot to unpack here, and if you spend time in the lab, I'm sure you can get the best out of him. Definitely better than I could with the hour or so I spent with him. Next is Squad 13's Rukia Kuchiki. Rukia is my favorite character, so I say this with love, but her combos are ass. In fact, I don't think she really has much besides this one I'm showing you on screen, which is disappointing. Let me know if I'm wrong. She's very much a hit and run type of opponent, keeping them at bay with her signature move, and slicing in with her special flash attack, which only combos with her signature move annoyingly enough. She doesn't even do much damage, so you really need to just judge timing with her and be patient. Her awakening upgrades her spiritual pressure moves, but they do the same thing, they just look different. The first one being a good way to create some distance when you're under pressure and do some damage, and the second one being a pretty good combo finisher. I wish she was better than she was, but honestly, I think my GOAT is a low tier character. I would love if somebody in the comments could prove me otherwise, but let's just move on, it hurts for me to talk about her this way. Next up is Squad 13's deceased lieutenant, Kaien Shiba. Kaien has decent distance, his trident can get you in front of the opponent very quickly, especially with his charged special flash attack, and his non-charged special flash attack does solid damage and can get you close to the enemy, but you can't combo off it if it's not charged, which is a little disappointing. I honestly found myself really enjoying playing with him though. His combo extenders mostly come off activating the reverse gauge, but the one I came up with that I was using was pretty sick. I'll show it on the screen here, it just looks so beautiful. And his signature move gives you this water aura state which boosts your attack, and you can constantly just spam it when you're at a distance to keep giving yourself buffs. It's pretty fun. His first spiritual pressure move is a slash that can be used through opponents' attacks, and his second is a good combo finisher that maxes out his water aura gauge. But he's a character that you can be relentless with and really rack up the damage quickly. I would highly recommend trying out probably the most questionable character that was added to the roster. Next is Squad 5's former lieutenant and advisor, Shinji Hirako. Okay, if you're a true gamer, you'll like Shinji. What I mean by that is I don't think I'm good enough to play this character. You need high reaction times. Now their description of Shinji says that he can control the close range game, but you can also get fucked in the ass if you misread attacks and keep getting hit. His signature move is one of the main draws to this guy because it's so cool. It's basically a taunt that leads into a punish if the opponent hits you. Though if the opponent is patient and can read you like this Mayuri I faced learned over time, you can just get absolutely dummied. I couldn't come up with any combos for this guy past the basic ones without using reverse gauge, but even this combo with his first spiritual pressure move that uses Hiyori looks relentless, yet does such little damage. That's my main problem with this guy. He does so little damage. Aside from his second spiritual pressure move which uses Sakanada and just does dirty damage, but it's super close range and if you miss it, you're essentially fucked. If you do land it though, you get a secondary signature move which makes it so you don't have to get hit, but if you aren't hit, you slash the opponent and it can lead into a combo. So it can lead to some mind games with the opponent guessing which one you're going to use, but its range is a little too short in my opinion. Also, I'm gonna be honest, his special flash attack is ass, at least for my playtime. I could just never land it because its reach is so short and you can barely combo off it. I found when I faced a Shinji though, he kept using it to counter my dash, so maybe that's its main purpose. When he awakens his attacks stay the same and overall, he's a little frustrating to use. But when it works out, he's one of the most fun characters to use, so have at it if you dare. Next we have the sole Quincy in this game, Uryu Ishida. As you would expect from an archer, he's a long range fighter, but I'll be honest, I'm very disappointed with Uryu. His long range special flash attack which is just a strong arrow, and his signature move which is a rain of arrows, are both pretty slow and easy to read, and his quick and flash attacks are both mid-range attacks, can't even reach long range. Basically all of his combos come from using his reverse gauge. I wish I could say he's the king of long rangers, but I fought against a Byakuya who admittedly was better than me at the video game. This was my first game with Uryu, but his long range absolutely dominated mine, because his attacks are so much quicker. When awakened, Uryu has the same attacks, a combo finisher spiritual pressure move, and a counter one that strengthens his abilities. Though his one saving grace for me is his reawakened state. If you manage to get it in a match, it can be a real tide turner, because he does ridiculous damage in this state, so it's good for a comeback. But unfortunately for me, before this state, he's not that fun to use. Next up we have Yasutora Sado. I really didn't enjoy playing with this guy. He's got absolutely no combos, which is sad for a boxing type character. He relies entirely on his aggression thing to get his damage output. And you have to charge it up to max for it to do any real damage, though it does a lot of damage when fully charged. But the enemy quickly catches on to what you're doing. Not many people are going to be like this Kaien and let you charge it up to max. He's got his breaker and special flash attack to make some distance, but even with his first spiritual pressure move that charges it quicker, it doesn't make for much fun gameplay. His second spiritual pressure move is an extremely easy to read uppercut, where the damage increases the more he's hit on the 1 second charge up, but it can be broken with a breaker attack, so I don't like it very much. Overall, I don't even want to talk about this guy much. His awakening is the exact same thing, and I just don't like his gameplay. His quick attacks reach way too short for me, like I never get a strike back with those fucking jabs. But I didn't expect much from this guy, so I'm not even that disappointed. Next we have the main character, Ichigo Kurosaki, his first state. The first form of Ichigo can do some solid damage with his normal attacks, and is very easy to pick up. Probably designed that way because a lot of the story mode fights make use of this version of Ichigo. He doesn't have too much in terms of combos, the only thing you can make a sort of cool combo off of is his fully charged signature move. One of the unique things about Ichigo that make him unable to extend combos is that anytime you activate his reverse gauge, it becomes a soul reverse, which is the one that steadily gains spiritual pressure and recovers health. That means he can't send people flying or extend his combos by activating his reverse gauge. In exchange for this lack of versatility, his attacks get stronger and his first spiritual pressure move changes, though it serves the same purpose as a combo finisher. His second spiritual pressure move is just a way to fend off opponents and get some breathing room, with an invincibility frame on the startup. Also, if you land a Kikon move whilst the reverse gauge is active, you destroy an extra Konpaku, so that can come very handy. When awakened, he enters his Bankai state and becomes much more fluid. His signature move becomes a lot better too in my opinion, able to attack people from far away and combo off it. But his reverse gauge exclusive ability remains the same. Still, this Ichigo can do a lot of damage with very little practice needed, so he's an easy character to pick up. Following off that, we have Ichigo Kurosaki, the Bankai version. I know the previous one had a Bankai, but this one starts in Bankai, you get it. Now Bankai Ichigo, they upgraded a little bit in terms of his combos, which aren't too complicated, but he has some kind of crazy strings that he can do when utilizing his second spiritual pressure move, his Getsugo Aura state. I'll show you one that I did here, but I've seen people on Twitter execute full bar combos using this guy, and not doing anything overly complicated. Still, those strings need a lot of resource to pull off, and aside from that, he's overall still a really good character. He can keep some distance with his Getsuga Tensho signature move. His special flash attack is fine for closing the distance, but only if you're in Getsuga Aura state. Awakened, he's basically just a stronger version of his pre-awakened state, but where this guy is really a problem online is if you fill up his fighting spirit after awakening. Because if you die, you reawaken with 2 Konpaku in this Holofight form, and do a heap of damage. More than likely your opponent is already low on Konpaku at this point, and his Zero Beam destroys 5 Konpaku, so it's really tough to beat him when he reawakens. Another easy to use character who is just a more fun version of his base state. Next we have the Flash Master, Yoruichi Shihoin. If you're looking for sexy combos, and just a sexy character in general, this is your main. She's the Flash Master after all, and she has probably the prettiest combos in the game. She doesn't do much damage and has low reishi, so you really have to be relentless with her. Just like Soi Fon. Like master, like student, I guess. And it's best to awaken before landing your first kick-on move so that you can 2-shot your opponent. She's got a combo finisher and a counter for her spiritual pressure moves, and if you spend a lot of time practicing her combos and getting comfortable with her, you'll probably have a lot of fun even if you lose. Sometimes her Flash Master exclusive ability confuses me because her attacks get saucier when it's active, but there's nothing on the screen to indicate whether it's active or not. So I'm kind of confused when using her signature move whether I'm actually activating it or not. She's got some medium range Onken that can keep opponents at bay, sort of her secondary signature move performed with up and circle or up and B, and her special flash attack is unblockable, though you can't combo off it, which is fair enough. She's just overall a very solid character that I think a lot of people would have fun with, even if you don't really know what you're doing with her. Worst case you lose and you get to see this awakening cinematic. God, she's bad. Next is the first head of the research and development department, Kisuke Urahara. Kisuke is all around a pretty solid character and easy to use too. He's got a ranged special flash attack to keep people at bay, a counter for a signature move, though it only works close range, and a spiritual pressure move 1 you can combo off of or into. Then his spiritual pressure move 2 just boosts his attacks and his speed, changing the way his normal attacks look as well as the damage. You want to awaken pretty much as quickly as possible with this guy because he can 2-shot the enemy if you soul break them twice in his awakening, and his damage becomes pretty nasty. You can also do some decent combos with this guy that look pretty nice. I'm going to put one of them on the screen right now. I put him at the bottom of my list before the game came out based off his character trailer, and I take that back now. He's actually a lot of fun. Next is the former Tres Espada, Nelliel Tu Odelschwanck. Nell is pretty fun and swift to fight with, her attacks are pretty quick, and her special flash attack is one of the coolest in the game with a really long reach that you can combo off of with stock. By stock I mean her exclusive ability which gives her chase stock, which you can charge up using her signature move, and they can be used to extend some of her attacks, like adding a Zero to the end of her flash attack combo. Her first spiritual pressure move, which is a cleaving strike, can be extended by using 2 stocks, and she can use a step after certain attacks with 1 stock, which can be used to extend her combos. And you can do some pretty nice loops using that step when awakened. Though her awakening looks very different, she has the exact same abilities, they just look a little different. Her spiritual pressure move 2, by the way, sucks. It does disgusting damage if you charge it using your stocks, but it's easily blockable, and if you get hit during it, it cancels. So I don't know when you're ever going to land that against a half-decent opponent. Even without using any stocks, it still takes too long to charge. Overall, her damage output isn't great, but she's really nifty and agile. A fun character to use, with decent combo ability, and 1 useless spiritual pressure move. Next is the Octava Espada, Szayelaporro Grantz. If you want to have a 10-minute match, pick this guy. Probably one of the most unique characters in terms of how their playstyle is designed. He starts off with 5 Konpaku, and he has a spiritual pressure understanding gauge, which goes up to 3. Basically all of his attacks attach Rokureichi to his opponent in varying amounts, as long as you do even the most basic combo. Even his first spiritual pressure move, which acts as a counter, attaches Rokureichi. When you retrieve your Rokureichi or spirit recording bugs from your opponent with your unblockable signature move, you increase your analysis progress gauge by a bit. Another way to increase it is with a second spiritual pressure move, which just does it on command. The more it increases, the less damage you take in your normal state. But you really just want to awaken as quickly as possible with this guy. Because once you awaken, not only do you do more damage, but you attach more Rokureichi to your opponent with each hit. Also, At your first spiritual pressure understanding level, when you're killed, you revive with 3 Konpaku. At level 2, some of your attacks gain a power up. And at level 3, you can revive 1 more time. So it can take 4 Kikon moves to kill this guy. The downside is he doesn't do much damage, doesn't have much to combo with, and the opponent knows exactly what you're after. To suck them off to get your Rokureichu back. I'm also not a fan of his Awakened Kikon move, which is basically a gamble. You can destroy either 3, 4, which is the most likely, or 7 Konpaku in 1 hit. The higher your spiritual pressure understanding level, the more likely you have a better organ to destroy. There are also some secondary effects with some of these, but it makes it hard to plan out the win. Still, I had fun with this guy. He's very gimmicky and can really annoy your opponent. Next is the former Sexta Espada, Grimmjow Jeagerjaques. Grimmjow is very fun to use. I'm glad he is because he's many people's favorite Espada. When he's not in his annihilation state, which charges by either taking damage or using your signature move, he's just okay, and can't combo too much. Though when he enters that annihilation state, or even further, his decimation state, which does damage to himself and is activated with spiritual pressure move 2, he can do some dirty combos and pretty high damage, which make him so satisfying to use. The combos aren't even that difficult to get down with this guy. I wouldn't recommend entering decimation state unless you're already on very low health though, because it won't kill you, but it will do a lot of damage to yourself. His special flash attack is quick and can reach pretty far, and that's where you're going to be starting a lot of combos with. And because he lands so many hits, his spiritual pressure gauge fills up a lot. His first spiritual pressure move is alright, it's a nice combo finisher but nothing too crazy. You really want to enter Awakened state as fast as possible, because it's just a stronger version of his base state. Overall, I'm very pleased with Grimmjow's gameplay. He's just as ferocious as he was in the anime. Next we have the Quinto Espada, Nnoitora Gilga. Nnoitora does a lot of damage off just his basic attacks, but his attacks are very slow and aside from his flash attack, doesn't have any reach whatsoever. So you've got to be brave. His first spiritual pressure move can also reach a decent distance, but again it's very slow and easy to read. Luckily it can serve as a combo finisher pre-awakening at least. Though his second spiritual pressure move does a lot of damage, you have to be literally right in front of your opponent to land it, and you can't combo into it. Not even with the reverse gauge extension, unless you time it particularly well. His special flash attack is similar in that regard, and then his signature move you might as well activate at all times, because it gives you super armor against special flash attacks, and spiritual pressure moves where the opponent normally wouldn't flinch during the startup. It doesn't give you super armor in general, just in the instance when you attack the opponent during those attacks, so it kinda gives you a strike back priority in a way. Though that effect goes away if you use anything aside from a quick attack basically. When he awakens, he's essentially the same, just with more damage and slightly better reach, and if you have 4 Konpaku or less, he grows additional arms that can do even more damage. And though he can't really do any combos, not even off a breaker, it looks like he can because the 6 arms really rack up the hits. If you're a brave soul, maybe Nnoitora is the one for you. When you actually land his hits, he's definitely fun to use. Next is the Quattro Espada, Ulquiorra Shifar. Another character that damages himself with his attacks. His Zero pre-awakening does almost as much damage to himself as to his enemies, it feels like. So it's best used sparingly, or spam it if you're near death anyways because you can't kill yourself with it. He has 2 Zero attacks. One is his signature move, one is his first spiritual pressure move. The second spiritual pressure move heals him as long as he doesn't get hit, so he can recover at least some of the health he does to himself. His special flash attack can reach a decent distance, though you can only combo into Zero with it, funnily enough. But you can do a decent Zero-centric combo with him if you dare. When he awakens, he has the same moves, just stronger. And now his Zero does some dirty damage, if you can land it raw. Which, let me tell you, being on both ends of it, it's tough to predict when it's coming. Then finally, he has a reawakening. Again, nothing but the damage changes, and at this point of the fight, you're already probably on low health, so there's no need to hold back on the Zero attacks. There's really no chance you'll win against a decent player without using your Zero attacks with this guy, so just accept that and he can actually be pretty fun to use. Just make sure to watch that health bar. Next we have the Tres Espada, Tier Hallibel. Hallibel is a character you've got to be very aggressive with, because the more attacks you land with your blade, the more her aura gauge increases, where it can enter a strengthened state where attacks become stronger. It also decreases over time. The more spiritual pressure you have, the quicker it decreases. So you always want to be attacking and don't really want to save your spiritual pressure attacks. Just let them fly. Her special flash attack isn't that great in my opinion. It's a thrust which is pretty easy to read, low on damage, and can't directly combo off of. Though her signature move is actually really good, I feel like. It's basically another dash which can transition directly into a quick attack or heavy attack, neither of which you can combo off of, but it's good to close the distance because you can also cancel the dash whenever, so you can sort of bait your opponent. Her first spiritual pressure move can either be used as a long range attack or as a combo extender, which is the more fun way to use it. In Awakening mode, this can be a really good loop combo if you've got the resources for it. Her second spiritual pressure move does high damage and builds up her aura gauge a lot, and you can actually land it directly from a reverse gauge combo, which you don't often get with these types of slow build high damage attacks, so it's nice. In Awakening mode, she's got slightly better reach and of course damage. Like I said, the key with her is to be aggressive and never let your opponent rest, and I had a lot of fun using her. Now onto the Primera Espada, Coyote Stark. This guy sucks ass. Complete dog shit. Get it? Because he uses dogs in his move? Alright. Like, I can barely win a match with this guy against even shit opponents. I only managed to against somebody who rage quit, and at that point I was like, I'm counting this. So if you only use this guy in training mode, you may be fooled into thinking he's pretty good. But play with him in an actual match or just read his abilities and you'll realize how frustratingly bad he is. Maybe I've been using him wrong. But first of all of his attacks use spiritual pressure. Except his quick attack, which you'll barely ever use, you don't really want to be close range with this guy. Though he can charge his spiritual pressure with his signature move, leaving him wide open. But you need to charge his spiritual pressure all the time. Otherwise you literally can't do anything. And the opponent won't just wait around to let you charge up. So it becomes an annoying game of cat and mouse. Which if you can master, by all means go for it. But it wasn't all that fun for me, even when it worked. This guy is pretty good early on because he can do a lot of damage if you can charge up your spiritual pressure gauge. But his gunshots are all so clearly televised that they're pretty easy to block or counter. Though I have taken pretty quick leads with this guy. Stark's Awakening is the real dog shit. His pre-awakening is actually fine for a pre-awakening state. Even pretty good, I would say. I just started to win with only this state because I hated his awakening state. Even though his combos are actually pretty fun when you land them. This is because when Stark is in his awakening state, he summons some wolves with a signature move. But it costs 1 Konpaku. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, and by the way, if you do a breaker, it summons 1 wolf and costs you 1 Konpaku as well. Are you for real? A grab attack costs a life bar. Okay, you don't need the wolves to attack, but they give him more damage and versatility. The only way to summon wolves without fucking killing yourself is by using your second spiritual pressure move, so it's best to awaken in this mode with a charged up state. Oh, and I'm not done. His Kikon move when he has more than 3 Konpaku destroys 5 of the opponent's Konpaku and 1 of your own. Fantastic. Not only that, but if he has 3 or less Konpaku, his Kikon move only destroys 3 Konpaku. Like, come on, if you're gonna make this guy self-destruct during battle, at least make him take the opponent with him. So yeah, in training mode, I thought he was pretty fun, but online, I just wanted to tear my hair out using him. A real shame for the Primera Espada. Next is the former captain of Squad 9, Kaname Tosen. If you like to toy with your opponent, then Tosen is a fun character to use when in his Bankai state. If you look to do crazy combos, then Tosen is not your man. He's blind after all, give him a break. Beyond the universal square and triangle combos, there's not much he can do. Even his signature move, which is a counter and you would think you can combo off of, you can't unless you use your reverse gauge. Even when activating his reverse gauge, he's very limited into what he can combo into. Luckily, he does solid damage with his attacks. His special flash attack though is pretty bad. You can't combo into anything with it without reverse gauge, though his spiritual pressure moves are both pretty solid. The first one being a good combo finisher or can create some distance. The second one being a slash attack where if you get hit or not during the run up, does pretty solid damage, though admittedly pretty easy to block. When awakened, his moves don't change at all. The opponent just has a limited view of the battlefield that slowly grows over time, then resets if you land a Kikon move. So it makes for a good way to harass them and keep the opponent guessing. The Bankai state is where you really have fun with Tosen, so I definitely recommend trying him out just for that state alone. Next up is the former captain of Squad 3, Gin Ichimaru. Gin is very annoying to fight against because he doesn't seem like he has range because of how short his sword is, but he has one of the longest reaches in the game. His signature move is particularly annoying to deal with, especially because you can cancel out of it and fake your opponent out. And both his flash attack and special flash attack can really reach a far distance, letting you start your combos from a safe distance. I will say that he's extremely satisfying to use even though he doesn't have crazy combos. Just comboing with his reach and ending a combo far from your opponent is really nice, and makes you feel sort of safe after you finish an attack. When he awakens, his moves stay the same once again, just the look of his basic attacks change slightly, and he obviously does more damage. Another one of the most fun characters I used in online, though he does have pretty low reishi, so it can be scary taking a full combo with this guy. His health will melt. The penultimate character is the former captain of Squad 5 and the main villain of the story, Sosuke Aizen. Wow, I absolutely love playing with this guy, I'll be honest. He's a strategical and powerhouse character, not a combo heavy character. You're not really going to be doing any crazy combos with him as far as I can tell. But he's got some disgusting abilities that enable him to just demolish your opponent. Where do I even begin? First of all, he doesn't have a normal spiritual pressure gauge. He has stocks which fill up to 5, and a bar that fills below it. The only thing that uses stocks is a second spiritual pressure move, which can be used at 1 stock or more. And the more stocks you have, the higher the damage output, though it resets you to 0. Oh yeah, and it's unblockable. His first spiritual pressure move enables him to be immovable, so you can always strike through your opponent's hits, though it depletes the guard gauge to 0 and you're left defenseless until it refills, so you need to be smart about when you use this. His signature move also allows him to be immovable whilst he charges it, aside from breakers, and the more hits he takes, the more damage the move does, and it boosts his spiritual pressure gauge charge rate. His special flash attack changes based on how many stocks he has, changing from a mid-range slice that knocks away your opponent, to a long-range Hado move, to a chargeable long-range Hado move that can do a lot of damage. Now, one of the most underrated and fun parts of this guy's normal state is if you're hit with a Kikon move and your reverse gauge is full, you can expend those 2 bars to save your Konpaku from being destroyed. It says it doesn't work against everybody, and I haven't tested out who exactly it doesn't work on yet, but whoever decided to give this already OP character this move is on crack. But it's so fun to land online. Once the Spirit Drive is full, he automatically transitions to Hogyokyu Fusion's second phase, and he can't use a second spiritual pressure move anymore. And overall, other than a damage upgrade, I think he's not as good in this state, though his special flash attack is pretty good for starting a combo. The limited combos that this guy can do. When you awaken him, then he gets the same moves from his first phase, and his spiritual pressure gauge back, just a lot stronger. If you land a fully charged Kurohitsugi, don't blink, because your opponent's health bar will be gone. Oh, I'm not done. If you fill up his fighting spirit before he dies, you'll reawaken just like Ichigo into his final Hogyokyu fusion phase with 2 Konpaku, and the damage just gets even more disgusting. He also has infinite spiritual pressure in this phase and all different attacks. A long-range special flash attack, a counter signature move, a combo finisher for his first spiritual pressure move, and the same unblockable spiritual pressure move too. This guy is just disgusting. If you become really good with him, there's almost no counter that I can see to him. He can hold his own long range, close range, medium range, does dirty damage, has unblockable attacks, can be immovable. Just disgusting. And lastly, we have Dangai Ichigo, the only unlockable character, available only after completing the main story, and also the only character without an awakening. And for good reason. There's no need for him to be even more broken. There's a couple things that make Dangai Ichigo so good. Firstly, the fact that he only needs to land a Kikon move 3 times to win. And I've heard the argument that some characters only need to land 2, but that's with soul breaks. I don't know any characters that can win with 2 Kikon moves without a soul break. Getting them from that 30% mark to 0% is pretty hard work sometimes, and this Ichigo can just skip over it. 3 Kikon moves of any kind and he wins the match free. Also, as he lands each of his first 2, his attacks get stronger, and after the second Kikon move, they get so ridiculously strong that they may need to dial it back a bit. Like, you can be brain dead and take almost 70% of your opponent's health bar no problem after landing 2 Kikon moves of this guy. If you're looking for cool, intricate combos, you're not going to find that here. This guy doesn't really have anything you can loop with. His signature move is a breaker grab, though you can combo with a special flash attack. His spiritual pressure moves consist of a counter and a combo finisher, and he starts the battle with 3 reverse gauge bars. The only, I guess, downside you could say with this character is he doesn't have the best range, so it's best to keep your distance from him and get your licks in where you can. Probably the easiest character to play in terms of combos, and he does ridiculous damage when powered up. The ratio of how easy his combos are to how much damage he does just isn't fair. You can see why so many people run him online. And I worry about this guy when Ranked comes out in this game. Well, there you have it. Every single character in Bleach Rebirth of Souls broken down. If you watched all the way through, I absolutely love you, you're a legend. Make sure to like the video if you want more Bleach Rebirth of Souls content. I know videos have been sparse over the last 2 weeks because I've been working on this so much, but regular videos will be coming back shortly. I may also do a video on one tip to look out for when fighting every single character online, so let me know if you want to see that. And yeah, I've been recording for 2 hours, I'm hella tired. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the join button if you want to support me a different type of way, that would mean the world too. I love you all, take it easy, and peace.